Says his fellow Republicans need to think about the precedent that would be set if they object to the Electoral College results. Candace?
Tracy Potts there in Washington, D.C. for us. Thank you.
Of course, there is another crucial election happening in Georgia tomorrow. Voters will head to the polls for two of the most important and heated Senate runoffs in modern history. NBC's Priscilla Thompson is on the road following the candidates. Priscilla, tell us more.
It was a busy week on the campaign trail here in Georgia, and with a little over 24 hours left before Election Day, the runoff race is continuing to heat up.
Make a plan to vote.
With control of the Senate on the line, both sides going all out in the state of Georgia.
Y'all, it all comes down to Tuesday.
Vice President-elect Kamala Harris trying to push more Democrats to the polls.
They know when we vote, things change. They know when we vote, we win.
The Democrats need to win both races to control the chamber. On their side, a historic surge in early voting. More than 3 million have already voted. Hundreds of thousands of absentee ballots still outstanding. But the polls show both races are incredibly tight, and Republicans are banking on large Election Day turnout. All this while Republican Senator David Perdue is sidelined, quarantining after a close contact.
It's terrible timing, but we are not going to miss a step, Jill.
Georgia is the center of the political universe right now. The most expensive race on the airwaves in Senate history. $480 million spent on advertising. Both President Trump and President-elect Biden will hold competing rallies here. The president's presence, a wild card. Trump suggested in that recorded phone call that if officials don't bend to his wishes, his supporters won't turn out.
You know, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote.
How concerned are you about the impact that could have in these final days leading up to Election Day?
Well, I'm concerned about the sustained attack on Georgia voters and voting rights in Georgia.
Many of the GOP voters we've spoken to believe the president's unfounded claims of voter fraud, but are still showing up to vote. The question is, will enough of them? Francis?
Right, Priscilla, thank you.
A full battalion of former defense secretaries is sending a message this morning. Leave the military out of this election battle. All 10 of the living former Pentagon chiefs teamed up to write an op-ed in Washington Post saying that involving the military in election disputes would cross into dangerous territory. The former defense secretaries write, American elections and the peaceful transfers of power that result are hallmarks of our democracy, and this year should be no exception. They add, the time for questioning the results has long passed. They called on the current Defense Department to carry out the transition to the new administration fully and transparently, saying this final action is in keeping with the highest traditions and professionalism of the U.S. Armed Forces and the historic democratic transition in our great country.
Top health officials in the Trump administration are pushing back. In a tweet, President